UFC 214, the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. The main event. Jon Jones defeats Daniel Cormier to reclaim the light heavyweight championship of the world. Gets on the mic and calls out, Brock!
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 Lesnar!
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 Brock! Lesnar!
And this is a Fight Fuel MMA Brooklyn breakdown
Brooklyn!
on the brewing battle between Bones and the Beast.
Jon Jones might actually be fighting Brock Lesnar.
It's crazy. Who would have thought?
I mean, this is the kind of fight that's going to be a massive ratings draw, huge spectacle, and I want to see it.
Who wouldn't want to see it? It's a freak show of a fight. Especially after coming off of the performance and the look that Jon Jones gave for the fights over the weekend for against DC, that head kick, the speech,
That head kick.
just everything about his comeback has been straight fire. So like, then he calls out Brock Lesnar. It's just like mic drop, money, 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 money.
Yeah, just spilling out money. And Jon Jones took a page from Nate Diaz's playbook and he said, I've got eyes on me. I've got everyone watching me. What am I going to do? I'm going to make my money fight right now. At the height of viewership, this is the main event, he calls out Brock Lesnar, one of the UFC's biggest draws ever, huge WWE star. I mean, this fight is going to bring in insane amounts of viewership and cash.
Yeah. But with the money, all that aside, we need to look at the fight for what it is.
Yeah, let's
Two
take a look at it.
combatants going in the octagon. What do they look like? Well, Jon Jones is 30 years old. He normally fights at 205. He is the light heavyweight champion. He's never really lost. And
Never lost.
yeah, and he's got a hell of a reach on him. In the light heavyweight division, there are barely anyone. Like Gustafsson is the only one I can think of that can maybe even come close to his reach. But his reach is diminished once he goes up a weight class, which is, maxing out at 265.
Now, when Jones fought DC, as he did over the weekend, he had a 12-inch advantage in reach, arm reach. That's an insane statistic. That's a foot. When he fights, if he fights Brock Lesnar, he's going to have a 3-inch advantage. Jones's arm reach is 84 inches. Lesnar's is going to be 81 inches. So he's still going to have that length. He'll still have the reach, but it won't be as drastic as when he is fighting in his normal weight class of light heavyweight. And we've seen him struggle against people who have similar reach to him. Gus was his toughest light heavyweight opponent, and he caused Jones a lot of problems because Jones wasn't able to exploit a huge reach advantage.
Yeah, that's a big part of his game plan. Another thing is Brock Lesnar is fucking huge. He's massive. He's giant. He cuts weight to get to 265.
Yes, he does. And we can expect that Jones is going to bulk up for this fight. I would imagine Jones would walk into the octagon somewhere around 230, 235 if he were to fight Brock Lesnar, possibly as high as 240. But it doesn't matter. No matter how big Jon Jones gets, he will never be Brock Lesnar big. And therein lies Lesnar's biggest single advantage. This is why they have weight classes. Because at some point, size just cannot be overcome. This is why the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world does not necessarily beat a fighter who weighs upwards of... Lesnar might be 50 pounds more than Jon when they walk into the octagon.
Yeah.
Now, I said pound-for-pound best. Right now, it's a toss-up between Jon and DJ, I think.
Yeah.
But it's going to get way more competitive if Jon keeps putting on hellacious performances like he did against DC.
Yeah, if the performance against DC is any sign of what we have to come for Jon Jones, he is writing his chapter right now where he ascends the mountaintop as the greatest of all time. And we could very well see that within the next couple of years from him. One thing that we need to mention about this possible potential super fight between Jon Jones and Brock Lesnar is that there are some things that are holding it back. This can't happen right away.
No, it won't be 2017. Lesnar is retired. Lesnar retired after he was suspended for failing a drug test, multiple drug tests actually, and
from UFC 200.
Yes, when he came in and destroyed Mark Hunt because he was souped up on Pete's. Now, from what I'm reading, it's going to be about 6 months and change before he could possibly fight again. So we're not going to get this fight in 2017.
Yeah, and not only is it 6 months from like today's date, it wouldn't be 6 months from today's date. It's 6 months from when he re-enters the USADA testing pool. So it could be even more time. So what I think, and I'm sure you agree, is Jones should defend his title once at least before this super fight happens. And if he still impresses everyone to the gills like he did over the weekend, then yeah, he is more than willing and able and deserving to fight the beast,
Brock Lesnar. Gus is chomping at the bit to fight Jones. He tweeted, hey Jon Jones, how come you're calling out retired fighters? I'm waiting to put my hands on you. So Gus would take that fight in a heartbeat.
And I would love to see it, and I know everyone else would love to see it. And if, let's say, he does win that fight, and it is like a barn burner fight of the year like it was for their first fight a couple of years ago, then it's even more fuel for the fire of this super fight.
Now, let's talk about the possible downsides of Jones fighting before a Brock Lesnar fight. If he loses to Gus, a lot of the steam gets taken off this fight. This fight maybe doesn't get made.
Yeah, so that is a risk that he is probably going to have to take unless the UFC decides to go a completely different route and maybe give Volkan Ozdemir a title shot.
They're not giving Volkan Ozdemir. Everybody just found out who Volkan Ozdemir was this weekend.
Well, Jimmy Manuwa was in the talk, in the contender talk of who would fight for the title next.
Yeah.
If he beat Ozdemir. Now, Ozdemir laid him out flat in 42 seconds of the first round. This also happened over the weekend. So it's like, I don't even know anymore. Like, this is so crazy.
Volkan Ozdemir has no time to get to that title, but it is not his time to get to that title.
Yeah.
If they're going to make a fight, I think it's going to be Gus first.
Yeah, and everyone wants to see that. So we got Jones Gus 2, hopefully in the near future. And then if Jones wins, then it's on to the super fight.
Now, since we're back to the super fight, let's talk about another aspect of the super fight. Jones is good in the clinch. Jones is hellaciously good in the clinch. He throws elbows like most fighters can throw punches. Mm-hmm. He is able to control his opponent's upper body, trip takedowns, powerful in the clinch, especially for such a lanky guy.
Yeah.
But in this fight...
Yeah, you foresee him taking down Lesnar? I don't.
I don't want to see Jones in the clinch in this fight. I want to see him keep his length working and keep Lesnar away, at least for the first 3 rounds. Later in the fight, Lesnar gets tired. I think Jones could look to clinch up if he wants to prove a point. He could try to take Lesnar down. But under no circumstances does Jones want to wind up on his back in this fight.
Oh, hell no. That would be like a death wish.
Brock Lesnar's best shot to win this fight is a power double leg, get on top, and throw those vicious lunchbox-looking hammer fists into John's dome. That's how Brock Lesnar wins this fight. Jones wins this fight by staying away, at least for the first few rounds, and using his diverse striking arsenal to pick Lesnar apart from the outside. Because we know Lesnar doesn't like getting hit.
No, and that is one thing about Jones, which is what makes him such a top contender for pound best, is his arsenal of skills. His arsenal of skills is wide and deep and just so well versed and so accurate, so amazing to watch, because he can throw out 12, 13, 20, 30, 50 different things that you haven't seen before in a single fight. So it's amazing to watch.
He has a big toolbox to go to when it comes to his striking techniques. He also has good submissions. But again, I don't think he wants to look to submit Brock Lesnar anywhere near the beginning of this fight.
No.
Stay on your bicycle. Keep moving. Pick him apart from the outside. Now, Jones doesn't have one-shot knockout power, but what he does is defeat his opponents through attrition. He will wear on them. He will tag them with hard shots, maybe not fight-ending shots, but he gets them hurt. And when he gets them hurt, he keeps the pressure on. He doesn't give his opponents a chance to recover and start from scratch. Look, it boils down to you have one massive heavyweight who, as I see it, has a limited arsenal of techniques that he can use.
Effective, yet limited.
Right. And you have a fighter who's going to be coming into this fight undersized, but overarmed. It's going to be skill versus power. Skill versus size. You know, this fight reminds me a lot of the Pride freak show fights where they would pit a small fighter against a huge guy, and you're watching just to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, this is like old school UFC. This is what would fill Superdomes in Pride, you know? So this is just money, 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 money.
Speaking of money, I also see parallels in this fight between another money fight that's going on right now, between the Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather fight. This is the UFC's answer to that fight, if they could get this made.
Hell yeah. I mean, right now they're in the works of Bisping GSP for the middleweight title, and that's amazing in of itself, but I think this has crossover promotion with the WWE, and their millions and millions of fans, and just in general, the millions and millions of Brock Lesnar fans. So it's gonna be sick.
There's a lot of reasons for the UFC to make this fight, for John to want this fight, for Brock to want this fight, for the fans to want this fight. I want this fight.
I want this fight.
Gus doesn't want this fight.
But Gus will get his fight before they get to fight, so I think we're good. Hopefully, if we're playing fair here. So
I'm gonna be honest. I want this fight. I want to see John Jones versus Brock Lesnar.
Hell yeah!
Make it happen.
Make it happen, UFC. Now, what do you guys think? Do you think that this is a good idea? Do you think this is a death wish for John Jones? I mean, Brock Lesnar tweeted out, like, be careful what you wish for. Like,
anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, so let's, see what you guys have to say. Let us know. Hit us up.
Get back at us. Comment. We really do want to know what you have to say.
Yeah, and then I just want to say two more things. Dave has an article about this, so check it out. We're going to link it down below once it's completed. We are. And if you guys want to see a little more about John Jones from our perspective, we have an older video, Blast from the Past, John Jones's Octagon debut against Guzman?
Andre Guzman was John Jones' first fight back in 2008. Yeah, we're going to link it down below. Check it out. It's our first Fight Fuel MMA Blast from the Past, I believe.
Maybe the second, but
I can't.
I don't know.
It's
from a while ago. On that note, we're gonna head out.
All right, signing out from Brooklyn. I am Dave Clifford, aka at Fishy Fridge on Twitter,
and I am Joy at JoyDNY on Twitter.
We're out.